welcome to ESPN's Thursday Night College Football, presented by Dave & Buster's as part of Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA. On a night where the students are out in big numbers, they are going to honor the military here in Raleigh and play a ball game, an Atlantic Division rival in the ACC, Wake Forest, against number 14 NC State. Dave Dorn and company getting ready to take the field. Chance to be a special year all the way up to number 14. This is a program that has never been to a major bowl game, what we today would call a New Year's Six bowl game, and the Wolfpack have a chance to run the table and do that here in 2018. It's also an unusual night in that it is senior night, even though there's going to be one more home game, a makeup game at the end of the season. They will honor a very talented group of seniors as the Wolfpack take the field, including their senior quarterback Ryan Finley. For more on him, let's say hi to Laura Rutledge.
Well, hi, Dave. And Ryan Finley is about to run out of this tunnel soon to be honored on senior night, as you mentioned. He said when he comes out and hugs his family, the emotion he'll feel is gratitude. He decided to come back for his 6 years. Of course, 6 years because he was injured early on at NC State. But this 6th year was about just soaking in the experience as a college athlete. And he says he's done just that, knowing that he can never get these years back and just celebrating every single moment of it with his team. It's been a very rewarding year for him, and he hopes to cap that off with a great ending to the season as they carry on. Now, he even got off social media, Dave, this year to focus in on everything he would enjoy with his team instead of being distracted by everything else. It's all about the Wolfpack tonight for Ryan Finley, Dave.
Thank you, Laura. Two guys who are big on social media up here in the booth with me, Matt and Tim Hasselbeck. Dave Fleming with you here on Thursday night. Great to have you back with us. Second year in a row, we get you here at NC State.
Yeah, well, you invited us last year to see Lamar Jackson take on Bradley Chubb. What a game it was. Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson. But the best quarterback in that game was NC State's Ryan Finley. Ryan Finley stole the show. 41 NFL scouts were here. We were here. And there's a reason why they're back tonight. If you're an NFL team looking to draft a quarterback this year, this is the guy you have to do your due diligence on. He's the most polished quarterback in college football.
Plain and simple, there's a lot to like about Ryan Finley's game. You know, you look at Ryan Finley's got an opportunity really to show a lot of people, to put his skill set on display.
Getting honored here on his senior night. Let's take a look at some of the stuff as the fans give their appreciation to Ryan Finley. Some of the things, Tim, that he does well on the field.
He can make all the throws, Dave. That's one of the things he can do. You want him to hit the go route. He's got the touch to be able to drop the ball in down the field to attack the deep part of the defense. You want to see him drive an out route. Well, he can do that from the far hash route. From the far hash, playing on time, in rhythm, ball to the chin of a wide receiver. That is outstanding. And if it's close coverage, don't worry about it. He has the back shoulder throw, which many quarterbacks have on Sundays, but Ryan Finley does it better than anybody in college football.
Country against a Wake Forest team. Dave Clawson's group is beat up. 5th year as the head coach, 2 consecutive bowl wins for Wake coming into this year, desperately trying to get back to a bowl game. We're going to see a new quarterback start for the first time. There he is, number 12. It is Jamie Newman. Wake won the toss, though, and deferred. So the Wake Forest defense, which is the side of the ball where they've had their most injury problems, will be on the field at the start of the game. This has been the Nissan pregame rush. Big student section in Raleigh. Dave Fleming, Matt and Tim Hasselbeck, Laura Rutledge, all happy to have you with us here from Carter Finley Stadium. The Wolfpack, great week for NC State. They jumped up a bunch of spots in those playoff rankings to number 14, and a good special teams play, leaping over a would-be tackler. What a return, almost out to midfield from Maurice Troel. So an excellent start for the Wolfpack. 47-yard return, and that gives great field position for the senior quarterback Ryan Finley. Finley, who started his career at Boise State. He's a kid from Phoenix, Arizona, from the desert, playing a long way from home, but this has become his college football home. Big year last year. You heard Matt talking about his game on Thursday night head-to-head against Lamar Jackson, which in a lot of ways vaulted him into more of a national discussion, having a big senior year. And he and the Wolfpack are going to move the ball through the air, you figure, quite a bit tonight on the ground on the very first play, and a nice start for the Wake Forest defense. That's one of their captains, the senior safety Cameron Glenn, making the tackle. Reggie Gillespie is the experienced tailback for the Wolfpack. And NC State's got some playmakers in the backfield, but I think the big star power on this offensive unit is not just the quarterback, but his wide receivers as well. They have some great players on the outside. Finley throws for the first time, and there was good coverage. Just kind of threw it away. It's third down.
Well, you almost question the decision by Clausen to defer here, with the weakness really being the defense at Wake Forest and the strength being this passing game with Ryan Finley at the helm. But so far, great start for this Wake Forest defense.
On 3rd and 13. After the big kick return, great field position. Can they take advantage? 3-man rush. The throw is there, incomplete. A catch, but out of bounds. Kelvin Harmon. Maybe 4th and 13, and you figure with that down a distance, probably a punt coming. So what a positive start for Wake Forest defense.
Wake Forest has got to be thrilled with that start. I mean, you think about, you know, the energy on senior night, and, you know, Ryan Finley facing this offense. You have a negative run and then the opportunity to hold him on 3rd and long. That's a great first series for that Wake Forest defense that, as you said, Dave, has been depleted with injuries this season.
And maybe the best overall player for Wake returns kicks. Greg Dortch, we'll see him a lot on offense. I think the Demon Deacons hoping that somehow they can spring a big play on special teams. They are big underdogs in this game tonight. Kind of a low line drive punt from A.J. Cole. It's going to bounce short. Dortch touched it, and the ball's on the turf. Now, that's not the kind of big special teams play that Wake Forest was looking for, and I don't know what that was. That was just a mistake, and it goes down as a turnover. Huge for the Wolfpack.
Well, it's a great player, I think, trying to do too much. You mentioned Greg Dortch, the most exciting playmaker on this team. Really no reason to do that there. The indecisiveness cost him. And again, one of your best players, I think, trying to do too much. You've got a new quarterback, and they're telling you all week, hey, you got to be a difference maker. You got to do a little bit extra, and that's not the extra that they're looking for.
And to be honest with you, you look at what Wake Forest defensively has to do now. Now it's a sudden change situation. You're back out on the field, but if there's one area this NC State offense has struggled, it's been in the red zone.
C.J. Riley, the wide receiver, was the guy who recovered the fumble. This is Jacoby Myers, kind of a jet sweep style play, and there was nowhere to go. Maybe got a yard or so. The Demon Deacons defense swarming a little bit. Justin Sternad made the tackle. Dortch and his head coach not happy at all with the way that went down. You can understand why.
Well, you need your best players to play their best if you want to win on the road in an environment like this. That's a tough start.
So now the Wolfpack, after a 3-and-out and a punt, have the ball inside the 15, but it's 2nd and a long 8. Gillespie gets the handoff right side, and he's got nowhere to go. Goes backwards. Sternad again. This is the guy with all the injuries and the shuffling on defense for Wake Forest. He is the guy who has stepped up more than anybody else.
Well, the Wake Forest coaches pointed him out. They said, listen, this is a guy that's been out in an outside linebacker. Because of injury, we've asked him to come in and play inside linebacker, and he's figuring it out. He's actually a little bit better than we could have ever really hoped that he was. And, you know, the more experience that he gets, I think the better he's going to be playing.
So now you figure it's up to Finley in the passing game on 3rd and 10. They can get a first down at about the 2. Some pressure comes. Finley over the top, and it is incomplete, knocked away. The receiver, Amezi, got his hands on the ball, I thought. But Amari Henderson was there, and he knocked the ball free.
This is an outstanding play by Amari Henderson. You know, Ryan Finley puts it in a place where Amezi can go up and make the play. But look at that left hand of Henderson, just reaches in there, able to knock the football out. Wake Forest right now has got to be absolutely thrilled with how their defense has responded early in this football game. And look, Greg Dortch, he needs to go down and give Henderson a hug right now after that.
29-yard field goal try. So number 3, hoping that it's just 3, and it is. That's all the damage done from the turnover on special teams. And you can understand why Dave Clausen is excited with the way his defense has started down just the 3 points. You're watching the ACC on ESPN here from Raleigh, North Carolina. NC State, Wake Forest. The Wake Forest defense impressive in the early minutes. Their offense getting ready to take the field. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Davidson, a little bit of an odd start for Wake Forest quarterback Jamie Newman. He thought he was going out in the field, obviously, to have his first offensive possession, but then the special teams mistake messed that up. So he's been throwing the football on the sideline a good bit. But Matt and Tim, what's that like when you probably got some nerves going and you think you're going in and then you're not, and you got to stay warm down here?
It just means you're still nervous. That's what it means. You were nervous before, you're still nervous. Just nervous for longer.
Yeah, no kidding. So now the special teams, it's Dortch who made that mistake. He gets upended, hit hard. Great coverage on the high, almost pooch-style kick, and here is the redshirt sophomore from Graham, North Carolina, Jamie Newman, who has taken just 66 career snaps. He is making his first start here tonight against a top 15 team.
Yeah, and you know, NC State's not really sure what they're going to get in Newman. There's not a lot of film out there for him, but you know, when you look at this kid, he's 6'4", 240, kind of looks like Cam Newton. He's bigger than the back seven of NC State.
He is a big dude. He hands it off on first down, and a positive gain on the ground. The senior running back Matt Colburn, who's having a nice year for the Demon Deacons. It'll be second down for Wake Forest coming up. State knows Newman from recruiting him when he was a high school player, but since high school, which is 3 years ago, there's just not much to go on with this guy.
Not much to go on, but you do know the skill set, and they are expecting design quarterback runs. Like I mentioned, he's a big guy, and they've got a great running game.
They are going to hand it off again. And Colburn with a nice cut upfield. He gets close, and it'll depend on where they spot him. I think he's just about a yard short of the first down. And you do figure that Wake's going to have to lean on the run game here tonight.
Yeah, they are, and you just look at this short yardage situation. Matthew referenced Jamie Newman being a runner. This is the perfect environment for a quarterback run. You gain the extra blocker with the quarterback as the ball carrier.
So Newman with that size, 6'4", maybe 240, holds it for a long time at what they call the mesh point, finally gave it to the tailback, and easily Colburn gets the first down.
Well, this mesh point is so difficult to find the ball. If you're a defender, you're not sure. Is it a handoff? Is it a fake? Is it a play action? And Colburn is shifty. He's a slasher. He sinks into that line of scrimmage, a very patient runner. And when you have a running back and a quarterback who can both carry the ball, it's very difficult to defend.
So 1st and 10 Wake. The first down on either side, even though we've got 3 points on the board. Newman pressured. He was going to look to throw for the first time, and he goes down. Takes a couple-yard loss. Isaiah Moore got to him from his middle linebacker spot. Tempo, a big part of Wake Forest offense. That mesh point stuff, but also tempo. A big question is, are they going to go as fast as usual tonight?
Well, they're so fast. Sorry, Tim. 19 seconds per play, but with the defense as banged up as they've been, it might be in their best interest to slow it down just a little bit.
Which is what it feels like they've done on this first drive. Not the same pace we're used to seeing from them.
Second fastest team in the country in terms of how fast they run the offense. They're going backwards now. Colburn dragged to the ground. Dexter Wright, the safety. It's going to be third down and long.
And for Wake's offense, this is what you cannot have. You cannot have the negative plays. With Jamie Newman as the quarterback, you're not going to be built, you know, to be dealing with third and long. And right there, Dexter Wright with a tremendous play in the backfield.
So now the crowd, for the first time, will get loud. And a kid making his first career start at quarterback on 3rd and 15. All kinds of signals coming from that Wake Forest sideline. Still 6 seconds on the play clock. And they get the play snap. Newman in the pocket is going to go, and not just deep, but very deep, way overthrown. It's 4th down.
Well, if I'm finding positives, it was good pass protection on the blitz there. NC State came with the blitz. Wake Forest picked it up perfectly. You know, Wake won this game last year and had no sacks, gave up no sacks in the game, and that was a huge factor. But pass protection, that's one thing. You got to deliver some strikes. You got to give your guys a chance to catch the football.
Thayer Thomas, redshirt freshman, who's really turning into a nice young player for NC State, back to receive. The punt from Dom Maggio, who's got one of the best punter names, I think, in the country, and one of the best punter legs in the country. Fair catch at the 30. That's where NC State and the offense will come back on the field. Ryan Finley hasn't had a completion yet. I bet he will when we come back. And a handoff left side right there has been nowhere to go on the ground. And again, backwards, Ricky Person. He lost several yards on that first down carry.
The story of this first quarter so far is TFL, tackles for loss. You hear coaches say, hey guys, we got to stay on schedule. That means if it's 1st and 10, it needs to be 2nd and less than 10. Right now we're looking at 2nd and more than 10. Way too much.
Negative rushing yards total. 2nd and 15. Finley took a hit, but delivered the ball right on target for an NC State first down across midfield. And that's the first catch for the big playmaker on the outside, Kelvin Harmon. He is having a tremendous year. He's a guy we're talking about, Finley and his NFL prospects and some other guys. He's a guy who has a real chance to be drafted and high this next year.
Yeah, and he's, a big-time player. Just so people know, that was a big-time throw right there by Ryan Finley. Kelvin Harmon, certainly his favorite target, does a nice job working back to the quarterback.
So maybe you guys pointed out a couple throws that were not normal Ryan Finley early. Maybe starting to get a little more comfortable. Downfield, and he's got a man. It's caught. That's Jacoby Myers. Well into Wake Forest territory, down to the 25.
Well, this is a really nice throw. I don't know about the read. He kind of gets lucky here that the defender, the defensive back on that side, happens to slip and fall down. But sometimes when you're good, the ball just kind of bounces your way. Huge gain for NC State, trying to get back on track, but Ryan Finley did not start out with his, it didn't feel like he started out with his emotions in check.
Play fake, and he's rolling out. Whistled one over there. That was a heck of a throw. Harmon inside the 10, down to the 8. That was a beautiful throw.
Yeah, and this is the play right before us. We had the deep over that Matthew was talking about. Similar to what you see the Rams and Sean McVay doing. Deep post with a deep over. Good job of being the eyes for Jacoby Myers coming across the field.
And again, Amari Henderson had a chance if he didn't slip, but I like the chunk play action. The play action pass that Eli Drinkowitz and NC State has come out with this drive.
Finley had completed one pass in the whole first quarter until this drive. He's 3 for 3 for 60 yards, and it's 1st and goal. NC State handing it off, and the ground game has just been a huge negative. And credit the Demon Deacons. That's another TFL.
Well, the thing's surprising. I mean, this is an offensive line, especially the left side of the offensive line, that guys have a lot of experience playing together. You would think that they would be able to get some movement, but it certainly hasn't been the case in this first quarter.
So we mentioned all the NFL scouts here to see Ryan Finley. They're here to see this offensive line of NC State. Garrett Bradbury, Big T, Teron Prescott. These guys, I'm very surprised to see this start for NC State in their running game.
So it's 2nd and goal all the way back to the 13. Lost 5 on that run. That's a short pass to Myers. Broke a tackle. Gets down to about the 5. Well, one of those big boys, and that is Prescott, the left guard, holding his right hand, right wrist. He's headed toward the locker room.
Well, that's a big loss for them if he's not able to come back. He is a big physical player, and like I mentioned, an NFL prospect for sure. But this outside zone, it's poetry in motion when it's working, but when it's not, you have that. You have guys slanting and defensive linemen in the backfield. Not a great start so far.
So now it's 3rd and goal for Finley and the Wolfpack. Second chance here inside the 10. They settled for 3 the first time. This time dropped. And they're probably going to have to settle for 3 again. Myers, no guarantee he was going to get into the end zone. But if he catches that, maybe you go for it from the 1. Maybe he gets in.
At least you then have a decision to make. And you're right. Myers is going to catch this ball right around the goal line. But the opportunity to fall forward, maybe you have a touchdown. If not, then you're on the 1 and you're making a decision. But with the way they've been running the football, Dave, chances are if he doesn't score there, they're kicking a field goal anyways.
The Demon Deacons defense, this is 2 times now in this game where in this part of the field they have held firm. Chris Dunn, true freshman place kicker, made one from 29. He'll try another one here in the final minute of this first quarter. The kick is up, and it is good. An impressive drive, 7 plays, 57 yards, but just the 3 points. Wolfpack lead by 6.
Well, if you're Dave Clawson, you decide to defer, which is a questionable decision, I thought at the time. Now he looks like a genius. He comes out and, you know, to hold these guys to 6 points and you gave up a fumble in your own area, you got to be really happy with that. But at some point here, you got to start scoring some points.
Well, the thing you're also encouraged about is the way they've been stopping the run. NC State -7 yards rushing the football so far. That's a big win for that Wake defense.
So Newman's going to hand the ball off. This time Colburn back in the game, gets a couple yards.
We're already seeing a bit of adjustment from the NC State defense, getting an extra defender down in the box, which really should open up more opportunities in the passing game, basically saying, look, we dare you to try to beat us with Jamie Newman throwing the football.
Now Newman's got some skills. He was recruited by a lot of these North Carolina ACC programs, but this is his first career start. He hands it off again, and the Wolfpack are ready for that one. Right at the line of scrimmage, it'll be 3rd down. And that will probably be the final play of the first quarter. Wake Forest will be content to get organized for a 3rd down coming up. Well, these students in big numbers here tonight. Senior night for the Wolfpack, into the top 15 in the country, trying to finish this season strong with their senior quarterback Ryan Finley leading the way. And at the end of the first quarter in Raleigh, it is 6-0 State over Wake. Carter Finley Stadium, the site here on this Thursday night. Beautiful night in Raleigh, North Carolina. Dave Fleming, Tim Hasselbeck, Matt Hasselbeck, Bradley Chubb, one of the recent greats for the Wolfpack, enjoying a fine rookie season. It's his bye week. He is back in town. They honored him in between the first and second quarter. Now we start the second quarter. That one, nice arm strength, and the catch, and another missed tackle. First down and much more. Sage Surratt, the redshirt freshman.
And Surratt's a guy, they just said, listen, we got to find ways to get this guy the ball more. He's very athletic. He's a freshman. He's got a bright future. Seems like he's having a hard time lining up right now.
Newman in the pocket will go down. Now that's going to go down as a sack. Bradley Chubb will be proud on the sideline. James Smith-Williams gets there.
It goes empty, and you see Jamie Newman just holds the football a little bit too long. Obviously, you know, Benziger, the left tackle, kind of gets walked back into his lap, but Newman can play with a little bit more urgency.
You can understand it's been a challenge for the Wolfpack. They lost 4 defensive linemen in 1 year, all drafted to the NFL, not just Bradley Chubb. So replacing those 4 has not been easy. Hasn't been quite the same year rushing the passer up front. Newman took another hit, but that pass right on target to Dortch. Not a first down, but makes 3rd down a lot different. Smith-Williams got another hit on the QB.
Well, again, you want to get about half of it back. You got these second and forever situations. You want to give yourself a 3rd and manageable. And again, give yourself the opportunity to kick a field goal. You do not want to punt in this situation.
So it's 3rd and 10. Newman throws over the top into coverage and almost intercepted. Great break on the ball by Moorhead, the safety. And he might be a little slow to get up.
And Newman's eyes just bring Moorhead to the football, stares at Surratt the entire time, and because his eyes were over there, Moorhead is able to get a jump on the football, almost able to come up with the interception.
Almost takes out his own guy. Ingram, you know, I thought he really could have been flagged. There was definitely contact downfield while the ball was in the air. You hope he's okay.
Wake Forest is sending the field goal team out there on 4th and 10. This would be the longest made field goal by far of the year for the Demon Deacons. So we'll see. They've got a true freshman kicker, Nick Skiba. And spot the ball at about the 37. So this is a long try here. 47-yard attempt coming up. Good snap and hold. The kick is on the way, and that one is good. Plenty good. That's the best kick of the year, and Dave Clawson's pumped. 3 points on the board for Wake. It's a 6-3 game. From Raleigh, North Carolina, NC State playing at home against an Atlantic Division rival in the ACC, leading 6-3 over Wake Forest. And you know what? You guys can disagree with me. Wake Forest comes in, big underdog, beat up, talking all about the injuries, quarterback making his first career start. I think the Demon Deacons have outplayed NC State so far.
The defense has been phenomenal, and I think that Wake Forest needs to be really encouraged by how Jamie Newman has responded in his first start. You know, it's not like they've had great field position, but I think that he's handled himself really quite well so far.
And if you're NC State, you have not even converted 1 third down today. You came into this game 7th in college football in 3rd down, and you haven't even converted 1 today against Wake Forest, who's got so many injured guys. They're moving safeties to play linebacker, and freshmen at that. Very disappointing start for the offense of NC State.
Now this kick toward the end zone, it'll be a fair catch, and we will go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, Matt's talking about NC State's offense and not getting off to the start that they would have wanted. One thing to watch, it's going on in the sideline. The center for NC State, Garrett Bradbury, and their quarterback, Ryan Finley, have been talking about the snapping. Finley saying that he's holding onto the ball a little bit too long, wants the snap to be quicker based on what Wake Forest defense is doing, and basically saying, I just want you to pop it to me.
Well, I thought we've seen Ryan Finley kind of field some off-target shotgun snaps. That might be part of the issue, but really it shouldn't be what you're getting out of, you know, one of your best players and probably your best offensive lineman.
Gillespie with a rare positive run. NC State's ground game has just been stuffed in this first half. He got 5 yards on first down that time.
Well, going back to Bradbury, he and Finley are roommates, and he's one of the best players on this field. I mean, he's a guy that's got a bright NFL future. Really good player, great reach blocker. In fact, a lot of people call him the reacher because he's such a great reach blocker, and that zone scheme is so important. But I'll say this, playing with offensive linemen throughout my career, sometimes they're dealing with something that you don't know about. Broken fingers, sprained wrist, and it can affect that snap.
That one was a little bit low. He did snap it much quicker. The quick throw out to Harmon. Stopped after a short gain. It'll be 3rd down.
You know, one of the things about the snap being accurate is that you end up having to, you know, right there's a good example. If you're trying to spit the ball outside and you see it's a low snap, you don't have the laces, the receiver's not looking at you, and you see Ryan Finley's just doing anything he possibly can to get the ball outside.
That's interesting. We'll keep our eyes on that because, as you guys say, this is a very good player, an NFL prospect. Guy was a high school tight end, became a defensive tackle. They found a home for him on the offensive line. He's going to play in the NFL. That went back to Harmon for a first down, NC State.
These are pretty simple passes, you know, hitch routes, quick out routes. They're making it look hard. For some reason, they seem out of sync. They seem out of rhythm. I really like this offense on film. It's one of my favorite offenses to watch. Very creative, very exciting. But so far tonight, feels like a trip to the dentist.
That's the first 3rd down conversion for the Wolfpack in this first half. That's kind of amazing. They've had a lot of chances at it. Option style play. Finley will pitch very late to Myers along the sideline. Ryan Finley took a pop. I'm not sure that's the normal offensive design, but it worked.
It did work, and one of the reasons it worked, this is an awesome job by Ryan Finley. This is it's a zone read option, and look at him press the defender, and then basically patience to the pitch. This is what I mean about him being a better athlete than you see as a runner, but you're right, you don't want to see him get hit like that often.
State, Dave Flemington and Matt Hasselbeck. Laura Rutledge is with us. A handoff play with a Wake Forest defender in the backfield almost immediately. A great run from Gillespie. He made a lot out of absolutely nothing. It's a first down Wolfpack.
And this really isn't Gillespie's game. I mean, he's more of a downhill runner. But you see the penetration by Basham, and then he just reverses field. It's an excellent run for a guy that doesn't typically come up with runs like that.
And you see NC State in the pistol. They mentioned yesterday that they were watching film of Peyton Manning in 2014. I feel like they get an advantage in the run game from the pistol formation. So far tonight, it's been kind of hit or miss.
How'd the advantage work on that play?
That was a miss.
It doesn't always work, even the best of schemes and designs. You guys have mentioned a couple different times this NC State offensive line, which is one of the strengths of this team, is getting beat up front a lot in this first half.
And listen, we mentioned all the NFL scouts here. It's not just scouts. We were having dinner before this. It's GMs, several GMs, and they're not here. They don't need a quarterback. They're here looking at offensive linemen here for NC State.
Prescott is back in the game. Finley, nice delivery to Harmon through traffic. He got close. I think he did. They're going to give him forward progress and say first down.
Well, they bring the blitz on the other side, but they try to disguise it so much that the quarterback's able to get the ball off in time. And that's the cat and mouse game that you play with, disguising too much, bringing a blitz, showing it. But when you have basically a 6th-year senior in Ryan Finley, you don't want to tip it off because you think he's going to recognize it.
Harmon, one of the best receivers in the country, is having a nice first half. This time, Finley goes in the other direction, and the pass is complete to C.J. Riley. Shoved out of bounds, a little bit short. There's not a lot of that. Now, look, these teams know each other well. A lot of these players from the state of North Carolina have known each other maybe even before college days, but there's been a lot of that sort of jawing, pushing, and shoving at the end of plays.
It's a rivalry game. Come on. What do you expect?
It is a division game in the ACC, interstate rivalry. Winston-Salem just, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half up the road from here in Raleigh.
They're in the pistol formation once again. Pistol meaning you're kind of in a shotgun, but it's a shorter shotgun, and the tailback is right behind the quarterback.
Person, right side running, and Person gets the first down inside the 20, down to the 17.
So if you're the offensive coordinator, or you're a coach up in the press box, you run that play. One of the things you're looking at is the backside end. The guy, the end man on the line of scrimmage. Is he honoring the naked bootleg? Right there, they did not honor the naked bootleg. All the guys went for the run. So don't be surprised to see a naked bootleg later in this drive.
Well, listen, in the move the pocket plays is one of the areas where Ryan Finley has really improved.
In the pocket this time with a lot of time. That one tipped up and incomplete.
They say tips and overthrows.
Gotta get those.
I mean, those are opportunities when a ball is tipped up like that, and you're a team that's trying to make an upset here on the road. You got to find a way to catch the ones that they throw to you. He's really not open here.
You know, he's not open, Matthew, but, you know, you hear Ryan Finley talk about 50-50 balls with these big wide receivers, or 70-30 balls in his mind, not 50-50, and just trying to give Jacoby Myers an opportunity to go up and fight for the football.
Well, Jacoby Myers is not one of the bigger wide receivers. He's only 6'2". Dave Doran told us when he got here, they had the smallest receivers in the ACC, and he's tried to recruit taller receivers ever since then.
This one, same kind of spot, a lot of contact. Here comes the flag. Glenn covering Myers, too much contact.
Penalty play, the ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
One of the captains for the Demon Deacons.
And Cameron Glenn is a solid player. He gets there a little bit too early.
And he didn't need to, Matthew. You see the depth of Sternad, the inside linebacker. I mean, he had help inside. There was really no need to panic and grab Myers as he's going to the post.
State has not been very good this part of the field in this game so far. Had 2 red zone visits, have kicked 2 field goals. Gillespie in as the tailback. Finley keeps. Ryan Finley, touchdown. And he lays it in at the end of the play. You mentioned the athleticism. He loves to play basketball. I think that was a little basketball finish after that touchdown run. First time for the Wolfpack in the end zone in this game. A little unusual here for the setup for the extra point. I don't believe they're going to actually do anything tricky.
Well, sometimes what you do early in the game, you see how they're going to adjust. And if you do have a fake, you want to go for 2 or maybe run a fake field goal. You know what you're up against.
Because it's the short week, maybe not prepared to adjust to it.
And the Demon Deacons will have the ball to start the second half. So 13-3, that's our halftime score. Adnan and company, some push-ups, but also some college football talk in studio. The Wolfpack, number 14 team in the country. Maybe not the result they expected in the first half. They do have the lead 13-3 over their rivals from Wake Forest. Dave, Matt, Tim back with you here as we get ready to start the second half. Guys, we pumped up the NC State offense and their quarterback Ryan Finley for good reason. They've been explosive not so much in the first half.
No, they've had great field position, but they've really struggled. They haven't been able to run the football. They've had drop passes. They've had a bad decision by the quarterback. And so I think when you look at that, it really makes you scratch your head, because all we heard was about how this Wake Forest defense was just depleted, you know, and they were dealing with guys playing out of position, Matthew. And so you look at them, they've risen to the occasion.
And really, NC State has not won the line of scrimmage. It starts there, but then drops by the receivers, and then poor decisions by the quarterback and not being accurate with the throw. It's really uncharacteristic. And Dave Doran said, hey, listen, we're going to get this fixed at halftime. We'll see, but 25% conversion rate on third down is not good enough.
The point that you guys were making, that average field position was excellent. They did not take advantage of it. Touchback for the Demon Deacons. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, talking to Wake Forest head coach Clausen, he was saying, Dave, that when he saw Jamie Newman out there, he realized that his quarterback was really comfortable, a little more comfortable than he expected in his first start. He said the moment was not too big for him. He said the most important thing was that Jamie didn't lose us the game in the first half, but he said now he needs to win us the game. And that was the message at halftime, be a little more aggressive. He said he got a little more comfortable passing the ball. They're going to need to do a little more of that, Coach Clausen says.
I'll get Matt and Tim's reaction to those comments here after our first down play. Interesting from Dave Clausen, who his team did a lot of good things in that first half. Big underdogs, undermanned with the injuries, starting quarterback making his first career start on first down, no gain.
Well, I would agree with Coach Clausen's assessment of his quarterback. I've been impressed with kind of his poise in this situation. It's been a fairly hostile environment. And, you know, in his first start, I think that he's done a good job. But Clausen's right. He's going to have to help them win this game by making some plays.
2nd and 10. Option style play and a great move. Newman on his feet. Here's a big run coming. Out to midfield, he will go out of bounds, but Jamie Newman, that looked like it might be a negative play. Instead, a gain of 26 yards.
Well, NC State has opened the door and given Wake some hope. And Jamie Newman, we mentioned he's a big guy. He's about the size of any of these linebackers for NC State, but here's a guy that's seizing an opportunity, and they didn't know what they had in him, but I think they're finding out.
1st and 10, Wake Forest. They'll hand the ball to Colburn. Nice cut. Out into the open. Colburn first down inside the 25. And one more broken tackle away, maybe from the end zone.
Really good job again by the Wake Forest offensive line. And, you know, Colburn's just a nice fit for this offense. That mesh point, he's patient, you know, at the beginning of the run. And then as soon as he sees it, he's able to just lower his pads and get up the field. You mentioned the broken tackle. I mean, arm tackles not successful against Colburn with that low center of gravity.
And the Demon Deacons on the move. A short pass on first down, well defended by the Wolfpack. Not much Greg Dortch in this game so far for Wake Forest.
It really hasn't been, and that's been a little surprising for me, considering he's been their best playmaker. It's been a little difficult for them to get him the ball, but certainly been running it well with Colburn.
Top wide receiver in the ACC in terms of catches, one of the top all-purpose yardage totals in all of college football. Newman keeps it, throws, slant again completed down to the 15-yard line, and forward progress, maybe even a little inside that. Scotty Washington with the catch. It's 3rd down, and here comes quick tempo of Wake Forest. 3rd and 2. Newman takes a snap. Colburn goes backwards. He lost a yard. Maybe the quick tempo hurt the Demon Deacons in that instance. Looks like the field goal team's coming on the field. Now, Nick Skibo made his longest kick of the year by far earlier in this game for the only 3 points to this point. This time from 34 and right in the middle of the field. The true freshman kicker. The hold was a good one, and the kick is good. 9 plays, 59 yards. It ends up with just 3, but the Demon Deacons will take it. It's a touchdown spread. The Wolfpack with the lead. 11:47 to go, 3rd quarter. Touchback here. Wolfpack will get the ball here. As NC State went to halftime, Laura caught up with Dave Doran, their head coach.
Coach, how would you assess the offense in the first half?
Lethargic. I don't think we played well at all. We're not winning the line of scrimmage. That's not who we are, and we're going to fix it right here at the half.
How do you fix it?
It's a little chat Just a little chat. I mean, we got to play fundamental football. We got to get our cleats in the grass. We got to get our hands inside and strain. We're not doing that. We got to get that done.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
All right, so let's see. That was the idea. How do we fix this offense? The rushing game really has not been there. That went out to Harmon, who maybe was the bright spot for NC State. He is tough to get to the ground. Kelvin Harmon with the catch on first down.
Yeah, he really was the best, you know, the bright spot. But I've been a part of some of those halftime chats with head coaches, and they're not fun. And it's really, they come in and they tell the truth, and really up front, it starts up front. This offensive line is better than they played in the first half. Now it's time for them to show it.
Finley, a little bit of that pistol look. Pressure comes, picked up. Ryan Finley is complete to midfield with coverage everywhere. Emezi with the catch.
And this is a really nice throw by Ryan Finley. You talk about having all of the throws, getting the ball over the underneath defender, but before the deep defender can make a play on the football. That's a really nice throw by Ryan Finley.
He had to put that in there perfectly, and he did. Ryan Finley going backwards, and now will throw it away. Incomplete. It's second down. Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Dave, we've told you the story of the center quarterback exchange struggles in this game for NC State between Garrett Bradbury and Ryan Finley, and they've talked about it on the sideline as we documented. But watching Bradbury, no athletic trainer has come up to him throughout this game, so it does not appear that there's an injury at least. And even just in that last time off on the bench, he was trying to keep his right hand dry as the rain has started to come down the hardest that it has all night. The football could be wet, something to watch too.
Now that was a better snap, and it gave Finley a chance to complete that one to C.J. Riley. It's third down.
It did give him a chance because it was right there. It's a perfect throw. You have to be quick with your hands as a quarterback, and you know, it's one of those things. Bradbury's played over 2,500 snaps here. To think that this is an issue on senior night is certainly surprising.
Strange.
It is. You know, Damian Woody was my center at Boston College, and shotgun was new to us. I used to line up behind the right guard because his snaps would always go to the right. I don't expect that from Bradbury.
Well, what a throw and catch. Myers on third down right at the line, and I think he got it. That was good coverage.
It was really good coverage. Ryan Finley has to kind of double clutch this. There's a saying, there's no defense for the perfect throw. That was a perfect throw. It's great coverage. And sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the offense. It's so unfair for these defensive players, what they're asked to do, how they're asked to cover. With the rules, officials are quick to throw flags. That was really well done, both offensively and defensively there.
So 1st and 10, handoff. Gillespie tripped up. The run defense for Wake Forest, I have been super impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can't be. I mean, they're moving safety players down to the linebacker level. Luke Masterson's in there at 210 pounds playing in the box. You know, Stronada, we talked about earlier, moves from outside linebacker to inside linebacker. Glenn's a secondary player. He's in the box. Really incredible, the effort they're getting out of this Wake defense.
And I like Cameron Glenn, number 2. He's a very solid player. He's a senior, 5th-year senior playing like it. Some of the leaders on this defense have had to step up and play. Been asked to do a little bit more than the normal guy.
That completion short by plenty to Harmon of the first down. It'll be third down and medium distance. I remember this is a Wake Forest team that midway through the season, after their 4th game against Notre Dame, fired their defensive coordinator mid-season. Does not happen very often. And they've got 2 guys who are sort of sharing the job at the moment for Dave Clawson. They were torched by Notre Dame, blown away by Clemson. They have gotten a lot better. This is a good NC State offense that they have held in check. Get very quiet here on third down when the offense is on the field. Finley will hand it off, left side running, and a big hole for a first down and more inside the 15, close to the 10. Reggie Gillespie.
This is one of the things that's great about Ryan Finley. When you have a quarterback who's smart and you can trust him, you get at the line of scrimmage, and then you basically adjust based on what the defense is doing. That's why you have good angles in the run game for Gillespie.
It's this pistol formation outside zone that we're seeing. This is a funky, unbalanced formation here.
And they get it out on that unbalanced side. Myers with the catch, trying to use those lead blockers who just wasn't much room to operate.
And I think when they come out with these unbalanced formations, again, you're taking a snapshot. Sometimes they call it a Kodak. Taking a picture of how they're going to align to this unique formation. And then we're going to decide in that package of plays how we're going to attack you next.
And Matthew, the other thing they're trying to do is they're trying to basically see if this Wake defense with guys in new spots will continue to get lined up correctly. One of the things that Dave Clawson was concerned about.
And for the most part, they have. Little misdirection play. Finley buying time, and he waited long enough for a man to be wide open, and it was dropped. Kerry Angeline, the tight end, was wide open, uncovered, and he dropped the ball.
Well, we mentioned setting it up with the outside zone, and here's the naked bootleg. Everything's set up perfectly.
And Matthew, you know this. Sometimes the hardest throw is the one that's wide open. St. Bassie falls down, and the ball's a little bit underthrown, and Angeline just needs to go down, cradle that into his body. It's just been that kind of night for the passing game a little bit for NC State.
Two things can be true. It was not a perfect throw, and the ball needs to be caught. That was a touchdown.
And it hit him in the 6.
3rd and 7. Finley. That snap was not quite perfect, and I don't know if that interrupted the rhythm of that play or what. But that play stopped well short. It's 4th down. C.J. Riley with the catch. Finley is frustrated with a bunch of different things. I thought the snap again was not great.
It's not. I mean, it's away from his body, and you said, maybe affect the timing of the play, Dave. You're exactly right. It 100% did. When you're throwing these wide receiver screens, you're just trying to get a good enough grip on the football to spit it out quickly. Bad snaps prevent you from being able to do that.
Now, that was the first time I noticed Bradbury there shaking that right hand. Low field goal try, and just good enough. Wow, that was unconventional from 23 yards out. He'll take it. 3 points. Some student athletes for NC State are a little cranky right now on the offensive side of the ball. Look, the Wolfpack, number 14 team of the country, they got a 10-point lead. It's 16-6. It's not like it's a total disaster, but this offense is used to a lot more production than this. And they have had all kinds of good field position and chances on the Wake Forest side of the field. Their special teams coverage has been excellent. That's part of why the field position battle has been so strongly in favor of NC State. Well, a new running back in for Wake Forest, and the Wolfpack are starting to swarm against the run. Christian Beal-Smith, Jermaine Pratt helped get him to the ground for a big loss.
Well, it's a nice play by Jermaine Pratt. And listen, this is one of the bright spots of this NC State defense. Jermaine Pratt, the story, we mentioned it earlier, moved from strong safety to linebacker. Linebacker would be his NFL position. And, just a really good, solid player. That's, picking up the slack for the guys that left and went to the NFL.
Redshirt freshman Ibrahim Kante also in on that play. That was a job well done. There is a pass from Newman for the catch.
And these slant routes, I know they might look easy for a wide receiver. The slant as you're coming into traffic is one of the more difficult catches for a wide receiver. And so far tonight, Wake Forest done a nice job catching those slants.
So now it's 3rd and 8. Again, this side of the field, quarterback making his first start. Newman with lots of time going deep, left sideline. It is hauled in, caught. That's Sage Surratt again. Wow, what a throw and what a catch.
What a throw and what a catch. It's an outstanding throw, just a straight go ball. And Newman throws on time. That is outstanding.
One-handed.
Surratt, a big guy, does a good job running, fighting for the football. Really could have had pass interference. Outstanding catch.
And now the quick tempo. They're going deep to the other side, and a great catch on this side from Alex Bachman. Touchdown, Wake Forest. Well, you will not see two better back-to-back catches, and give the quarterback some credit too. The big gain to get into scoring position, and then that one to cash it in from 38 yards away.
Well, maybe it's contagious, but Bachman, great hands, more of a possession receiver, but this is an amazing catch if it stands. Well done. Great throw, great catch, back to back. And Wake Forest trying to make a game of this.
I think it should stand, even though the ball does touch the turf there. I think he had control of the ball. 4th touchdown of the year for Alex Bachman, who's not been healthy for much of the year. That was great. And this is a ball game with 2:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. Extra point up and good. The lead for NC State is just 3. Did you see that coming? I mean, it was third down from deep in Wake Forest territory.
I was getting ready to say this offense, you know, they're basically being begged to throw the football. I mean, it was NC State's defense playing downhill on them. And so next thing you know, Wake says, all right, we're going to take some shots. And it's these wide receivers really doing an excellent job of adjusting to the football.
This is one of the most amazing catches I've seen this season. That is a great catch. I mean, I'm already standing, or that would be a standing ovation. And then this one right here, again, well done by Wake Forest. You take those 50-50 balls that some people like to call them. Ryan Finley's calling them 70-30, but right there, that is an absolute wonderful job of execution by quarterback.
And Matthew, you mentioned it. Bachman's really a possession receiver for them. He's not this guy that stretches the field, and so one go route after the next, and then that one to Bachman with an outstanding adjustment.
That one bounces, so it's going to be a short kick. And NC State's offense will start at the 25. Yesterday, you had a chance, guys, to visit with their offensive coordinator, Eli Drinkwitz.
I think this is one of his best throws. He does this time after time to the right side, back shoulder, shoulder pad or higher.
Do you think that's his best throw?
He's pretty good at it. Yeah, he's pretty good at it. It's probably his most efficient throw as far as being an explosive throw. And then I thought this was just a good, solid, he does a good job getting depth from the line of scrimmage, and then he gets some unscheduled pressure and finds a way to get depth and knows, hey, my guy's still going to win. I just got to give him a catchable ball. He is probably one of the more athletic people on our football team, but he doesn't get credit for it because he runs so scared.
What do you mean scared? What does that mean?
I mean, he runs looking to get to the ground.
One thing we like about Eli is insight, football acumen, but also honesty. Very honest about his quarterback. 2nd and 11 for Finley and NC State. Nice delivery across the middle. That's good for a Wolfpack first down to Jacoby Myers.
I really liked our time with Eli Drinkwitz. You know, Tim and I both have been around a lot of different coaches and had great coaches, but Eli Drinkwitz is kind of one of these guys that you don't, I don't know, he's got like a Brad Stevens quality to him. Very, very intelligent. He doesn't necessarily, you know, have that name recognition, but we like him. We like him a lot.
Finley looked to me like he almost stumbled. A couple different play fakes, and he drops one over the top, and there's an answer for NC State. That's the Wolfpack's version of the one-handed catch, Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, one of the reasons we like Eli Drinkwitz is some of these creative plays. I mean, it's a play action, fake the around, and then a throw to one of these big wide receivers, and then a great adjustment by Myers. You know, we're talking about it. It's raining. That's an outstanding catch on an adjustment on a ball thrown right behind him.
And these receivers are picking up their game. They're stepping it up. These last 3 catches have been nice.
Because before that, the receiver play had been, I think, less than impressive. Finley scrambling and will flip it out of bounds. Incomplete. We had a drop touchdown pass on the last drive by a tight end. We've had lots of other drops from some of the best receivers on both sides of the field, not in the last couple of minutes.
And I mentioned it to start the game with Greg Dortch. Sometimes the big lights, national television, Thursday night football, you can try to do too much. You can over try as a great athlete. And sometimes the thing you got to do is just relax and play. And so whatever was said at halftime, whatever was said at the, you know, on the sidelines, these guys are playing much better right now.
Final seconds of the third quarter. Still a lot of football to be played tonight. Maybe a much more competitive game than most people would have expected. Run around the corner for Ricky Person. Gets knocked out of bounds by Luke Masterson. It'll be third down. The clock is rolling, and NC State may just decide to let those final seconds expire and get ready for a third down play to start the fourth quarter. I would say, guys, a rather exciting end to our third quarter with the spectacular catches on both sides, wouldn't you?
Really nice. I mean, I don't know, my guy Randy Moss might want one of these on the You Got Moss segment, but really well done. I got to go with that first one. That was my favorite.
This was kind of cool on Military Appreciation Night here in Raleigh. It was Air Force versus Army. A little extra start on the tug of war, and who won?
I like that. Air Force won it. This is kind of neat. You know, it's not just the players playing football competing out here. Pretty cool. It's always fun to see the competitiveness between our armed services. These guys.
Does that count for the Commander's Trophy? I don't know.
Think so, no.
Listen, it was great teamwork by Air Force is what it was.
It was very Well done. So third down, NC State, start of the fourth quarter. A competitive game and a nice pass. And a broken tackle out in the open. Emezi, touchdown, Wolfpack. The tug of war back in favor of NC State. First play of the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, the passing games have come to life. Extra point being lined up. High snap there. Good hold. And the point after is good. 10-point lead for the Wolfpack.
You know, NC State puts the formation into the boundary, trips to the boundary, of all this wide side of the field to work the slant. Ryan Finley gets a good snap. Ball into the body of Emezi, which allows him to be strong through that arm tackle and keep his speed up and keep running.
We mentioned Dave Doran likes to recruit big, strong receivers. Emezi, 6'3", 208 pounds, breaks a tackle, yards after the catch.
Ryan Finley, fair catch signal. Demon Deacons, after scoring a touchdown on their last drive, will get the ball back. And let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, let's watch for the connection with Sage Surratt, because we just saw Jamie Newman talking to him on the sideline, and Surratt said, hey, whatever you throw my way, I'm going to catch it. So he may target him again. He's already had some big catches in this one.
Well, it seems like a good idea the way that Surratt caught the ball on the last drive.
And it sounds like every wide receiver that Matthew and I have ever met before. Like, hey, I'm open.
Yeah, what's your problem? Give me the ball.
I'll tell you, you keep making catches like that, the ball's going to keep finding you. It's going to be coming your way.
The downfield passes started to work. That was a nifty little play call and set up for the tight end catch for Brandon Chapman. So not down the field, but it works on first down. Still a long way to go in this game. And Wake Forest down just 10, even after the quick strike from the Wolfpack offense. Newman handed it off. A little misdirection with the pass fake after the carry, but a gain that was not quite enough for a first down for Carnegie. It's third down coming up.
That's third and short. They're backed up near this student section once again. It's going to get loud, but this 3rd and 2, these are huge conversions. They're very makeable, and as an offensive coordinator, you want to be in these 3rd and 1 to 3 situations.
Nobody in the backfield with Newman. He drops back and throws, and that one is number 14. Give me the ball. He makes the catch, first down.
Listen, it was showing some confidence in the young quarterback. 3rd and 1, and you go empty. Good pass protection. Looks like the ball gets tipped.
I think it did.
Nice job staying with it by Surratt.
Too much.
Newman has been under pressure these last few plays. He goes down again.
It looked like an RPO, a run pass option. He's doing the play action. He pulls the ball out to throw it, and then he has nothing. That's the negative of this RPO style play, is that once you have nobody open, there's nowhere to go with the ball. It's a run up front, and it's a pass by the quarterback and the receivers.
Got back to the line of scrimmage at 2nd and 10. That looks like a design quarterback run. Newman picking his way ahead. Took a pretty big hit, but got a nice gain. Out across the 45 to the 47. It'll be 3rd and 2.
And that's what we expected to see more of. We didn't know a lot about Jamie Newman. We expected to see design quarterback runs, pulling guards. Some of that stuff you've seen Auburn or Carolina, the Panthers, do with Cam Newton. But he's been playing more quarterback, throwing the ball downfield tonight.
Pressure comes, low throw, but it was caught. Scooped up by Alex Bachman before it hit the turf. It's a first down, Demon Deacons.
And Matthew, I agree with you. I think we were expecting to see him running the football a lot more. He hasn't been eager to run it, and Dave Clausen seems to be getting more confidence in letting him throw the football. Good job of Bachman, using his body to shield the ball. But, as we get back to a run, I mean, really, Jamie Newton seems like he's getting into a bit of a rhythm.
And if you were to tell me that this was Jamie Newman's first start, just kind of watching him tonight, I would be surprised. He seems comfortable. He seems calm. Whatever nerves you might have in your first start, you don't see him out there.
He's doing a nice job. Handoff this time, and that is the freshman Christian Beal-Smith. He gets the first down.
And Christian Beal-Smith, he's a guy that the coaches, basically signaled out. We said, listen, because of injury, we've asked Carney to play more special teams. Christian Beal-Smith's going to get some more run. And he's our fastest running back. So we think that, he is young. He's a redshirt freshman. We think he can be just as good as these other backs.
Getting a chance to play here in the fourth quarter of a tight game. Down 10. They need points. Option, fake pitch, and a good decision by Newman. There's some of that power and athleticism. That's another Wake Forest first down.
He's done this a couple of times where it looks like some of these runs may end up going out to the perimeter, and then you see him just do a good job of getting up the field. North-south, he's a big guy. That's really how they want him running the football.
Newman over the top toward the end zone, and it is incomplete. Surratt not this time. That was another one of those contested balls. He at least could get his hands up on the ball. Ended up being, I think, a pretty good play by the defensive back.
Good routes by both inside receivers. Had a chance. Griffin's lucky that he timed it up right because he never gets his head around. My friend Charles Woodson, who I work with on Sunday mornings and Monday nights, always says, DBs, get your head around. Griffin got lucky that time.
Got away with it, you're right. 2nd and 10. Newman, this time to the right side. Bachman went up and snared it. Another nice catch for number 1.
I've been impressed with Bachman tonight. This is another good throw, but Bachman, we mentioned possession receiver, great hands, had the amazing catch on the touchdown. But as a receiver, as a quarterback, when your receiver is making plays for you, the ball will keep going there. You're in your cadence. Am I going left? Am I going right? You know what? I'm going right. This guy, I've been feeding him. I trust him. The ball's going to keep coming your way.
3rd and 2. Big play for the Demon Deacons. Maybe in a spot, although you're in field goal range, you could take the 3 points, but you need points.
You got to be thinking touchdown here.
That's what I would think. 3rd and 2. Newman in the pocket. Over the top, he's got his man Dortch. Touchdown. That time they beat Stephen Griffin. And Greg Dortch with the touchdown delivery. It's back to a much closer game. 19 yards for the Demon Deacons touchdown.
It's man coverage, and they set a little pick for him. Look at Surratt come in here, sets the pick, but he gets out of the way, makes the defender go underneath him. And then Jamie Newton does a great job of giving this guy a chance to catch the football because he's wide open. Really good play design, timing of the call by Dave Clawson.
Really impressive, and a nice job by Surratt not getting called for pass interference. You don't need to set a pick on a pick play. Just make the defender settle his feet just a little bit.
Big extra point is up and good. That makes it a field goal game. Impressive, huh?
I'm impressed with Jamie Newman. This guy's come to play. And Dave Clawson said it. Hey, listen, don't lose us the game in the first half, but we need you to win us the game in the second half. He's got a shot.
It's been a beautiful couple days in Raleigh, North Carolina. A lot going on here in what they call the Triangle. And some good college football, too, tonight. Wake Forest, maybe not technically one of those Triangle teams, but just up the road from here in Raleigh. And the Demon Deacons giving the Wolfpack all they can handle. Kick return here for NC State. Their offense back on the field. But 1st and 20 with the injured offensive lineman, plus the penalty. That throw is right there on the money for a nice gain. It's still going. Finally blown dead. That is a Mezzi. Got the penalty yardage back and more.
And again, really well done with your eyes. Just a backside curl route to your ex-receiver, meaning your single receiver all by himself, giving him free access. Ryan Finley, I mean, he's such a good quarterback against zone. I really think you got to be more disruptive at the line of scrimmage. He's really done it all at the line of scrimmage. You can hear his audibles from up here, but if you're going to give him that 10 to 12 yard curl route, he'll take that all day.
Let's make a big picture point here. The clock continues to move. I mean, Wake Forest has their timeouts, but the time is not on their side. Harmon with the catch. That's a Wolfpack first down into Wake Forest territory. You're in a spot, if you give up a touchdown here, now you could afford to give up a field goal. If you give up a touchdown, the game might be over.
Well, again, I think that's why you can't just give them these free access throws. You got to be a little bit disruptive. This defense of Dave Clawson, they've been good at mixing it up, playing multiple coverages. But tonight, I think they've been trying to simplify because of all their injuries.
You know, you just look at the confidence that Eli Drinkwitz has in Ryan Finley. You reference the situation. I mean, you're in a 4-minute offense situation, and they come out throwing the football. Obviously, the curl is the first one, but then you come back with an out. You know, not a lot of, coaches would have that type of confidence in their quarterback.
Well, there's a good positive play for Wake Forest. Dave Clawson could consider now starting to use his timeouts. He also had a little skirmish down the field. Maybe the center. Was that Bradbury? He was all the way down the field. Maybe that play that went backwards. He's not using his timeouts. The clock is rolling. 2nd and 12.
Maybe that's why they were throwing it. They've been really uneven running the football. Nice block right there by Garrett Bradbury. Really impressive. He's downfield, maybe 10 yards. I'm not even exaggerating, blocking his guy. But again, that is another TFL, tackle for loss, and you don't want that, especially in a 4-minute situation trying to win a game.
The clock is winding down, and Wake needs a stop. Here comes a penalty flag in there. The pass was completed for a short gain. The whistle will stop the clock for now. I think that one's going against the Demon Deacons.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 93, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, that's a crippler. It was going to be 3rd down and long, and a chance to get that just much needed stop for Wake Forest. Instead, it's a first down, NC State.
Well, Zeke Rodney's a pretty good player. I like this kid on film, but he gets the hands up into the face, and they're going to call that. It's unfortunate. Those guys are battling in there. You're getting double teamed. You don't even know where your hand is. Stuff happens, but that's a critical penalty at a critical time.
Well, now the clock is rolling. So, I mean, the play clock's still with 15. You would figure NC State would want to take that down as far as they can. And they are going to wait. You got to be patient here. Wake Forest is not using their timeouts, and to me, that's a mistake. Time is time. They hand it off, and the run play goes nowhere now. Certainly, they will use a timeout. They do. 1:58 on the clock. And this is the game here for both sides. Wake Forest desperately trying to still have a shot, down by 3.
That was hurtful.
1:58 to go, and Wake Forest with 2 more timeouts, so they can come up with a stop here. Finley will bootleg it, and that was read beautifully.
Listen, they tried to sneak the old, keep the ball in your pocket signal, and Wake Forest did not take the cheese. They were ready for it. Well done by Wake Forest, staying home, showing some discipline. You see the backside, they're saying, hey, number 6 is going to, peel down. But the safety, the back end, Cameron Glenn, solid all night. Does a nice job of staying home.
You've been a solid all night. You're exactly right. I mean, you think about Cameron Glenn. I mean, they've moved him all around tonight. It's just about being disciplined. We talk about defense being aligned. Get lined up correctly. An assignment. Know what your responsibility is. You have contained. Don't chase in that environment.
All right, so now it's 3rd and 14. 1 timeout remaining for Wake Forest. Do you run the ball? Maybe not even in field goal range. Force him to use that timeout. Would you dare put the ball in the hands of your senior quarterback, let him throw, and try to essentially, if you could get the first down, end the game, win the game?
Listen, I would say run the ball and give your kicker a better chance. But look at this defense. They're packed in there. They're saying, listen, we dare you to throw the ball right here. We'll take our chances playing defense 1 snap.
So let's see what the Wolfpack have in mind. 3rd and 14. And they are back to pass. Finley looking across the middle, throws across the middle, and the pass is caught. Now the stop was short of the first down, and Dave Clawson sprints on the field to use that final timeout. You got 4th down and about 3. You're in field goal range. Dave Doran's got a decision to make.
I would expect that he keeps the ball in the hands of his 6th-year quarterback in Ryan Finley. And
that's what he's doing. Go win the game.
And I like the call. I like this call a lot. Now listen, Wake Forest has been outstanding up front, so I would expect a pass in this situation.
And listen, if you're Wake Forest, I'm playing pass here. I mean, that's what I would be doing.
4th and 3, game on the line. Can Wake Forest give their offense a chance? Finley looking right, throws right, and it is incomplete. Incomplete through the hands of Thayer Thomas. What a stop for the Demon Deacons, and they have life in this game.
In Wake Forest played pass. They walked the linebackers up into the A-gap to show blitz. It looked like it maybe was going to be zero coverage. And you see him run out underneath it, flood the underneath zone, expecting a short pass. You see there, not a window for Ryan Finley to fit the football into.
Wow.
Well, it's blanket coverage. I mean, he was covering him like a glove. We saw that throw earlier, and we said there's no defense for the perfect throw. I'm not sure if even a perfect throw would have gotten that ball completed.
So now the Demon Deacons and their sophomore quarterback in his first career start. No timeouts, but 1:39 and down just a field goal. 1st and 10 from their own 20. With the crowd noise definitely a factor. Newman out to the sideline and out of bounds for the short gain to stop the clock.
And Newman's completed 9 of his last 10 passes. Very efficient. These receivers have made some great catches. Notice the running back there making protection calls at the line of scrimmage. Everybody, you know, having a part in this offense. This could be a really fun drive to watch.
You need about 50 yards to get into realistic field goal range. That's a lot. You have time, and it's the college game. The clock will stop on first downs. Not permanently, but at least it'll stop. Newman throws, and that is a first down. So clock stops to get everything set. Sage Surratt, another catch. He's having a big night.
And again, these defensive backs for NC State the last 2 plays have played off coverage hard and inside. They're changing it up on this snap.
So clock winds. Wake Forest, one thing is they are used to going fast. That's a normal tempo for their offense. What a delivery to Dortch in the middle of the field. A penalty flag comes flying in, but he made the catch, and I would guess this is going against the defense, and the catch will stand.
Holding defense number 21. That penalty's declined. Results of the play. First down.
Well, now you're in business if you're Wake Forest.
And listen, you're in business because Jamie Newton is seeing it. Matthew referenced the off coverage he was getting. You got cover 2 on that last play. What do you do versus cover 2? Attack the middle of the field, which is what he did there.
They got about half of that yardage needed for field goal range. The clock is winding here. So Newman and Wake Forest, they do still have to show some urgency. In the pocket, Newman will throw incomplete. Intended for Surratt, but out of bounds. 59 seconds on the clock.
And if
it
you're
is the
talking
true freshman kicker who's getting loose.
Well, you're mentioning the true freshman kicker, and I'm going to mention this quarterback, Jamie Newman. Not a lot of practice snaps because he hasn't been the starter all season. This is his first start, so situational awareness comes up here. You only need a field goal. You can't take sacks.
About, what, 15, 17 yards to get to the spot where he made a field goal earlier in the game.
Listen, you can get to the 33-yard line, but it's always good. Those kickers like it when you get a little closer.
Ask the Broncos. And Newman's going to have to throw another one away. So now it's 3rd and 10. Good coverage from the Wolfpack secondary.
And he had a guy open if he would have held onto the ball, but I like it. The internal clock in the pocket was going off. I mentioned you cannot have sacks. In the NFL, the coach can talk to you in your helmet. In college football, you are out there by yourself. So you got to be the situational awareness person without any help. There's no training wheels for these quarterbacks in college.
3rd and 10. Wake Forest, big underdog against the number 14th ranked team in the country. Trying to come from behind. Some pressure picked up. Newman throws, and it is caught by Dortch. Dortch fighting, and he gets out of bounds. And they got very close to that field goal line. It is a first down, Wake Forest.
Dortch just does such a good job working the route. You see the little release and then stem the defender up the field in order to gain some separation. But how about the outstanding timing by Jamie Newton to have that ball hit him as he's breaking to the sideline?
44 seconds on the clock. Stopped because he got out of bounds. And I think the point that you made a moment ago, you still would feel a lot more comfortable for a game-tying field goal try if you're closer.
Listen, I played with one of the greatest kickers of all time, Adam Vinatieri, and I'd say, where do we got to get to? He goes, listen, here's where you got to get to, but you're allowed to get to the 1. Go ahead and do it.
Back to pass Newman. That one, I think, was tipped. Did Surratt catch it? No, incomplete. Incomplete. Clock stops. He's saying he did catch it. That's what he's arguing.
Well, let's take a look.
Wow, he might have.
I think he did.
He might have. essentially that does buy you an extra timeout. I mean, you did have time to take a breather, talk to your coach on the side. Something good came out of that, even though Wake didn't get the call. Newman all alone in the backfield. Pressure comes, and he gets rid of it. Across the middle, and down the middle, toward the end zone. Touchdown! Freudenthal, the tight end. And there was a collision that helped spring him free, 32 yards. And they are stunned here in Raleigh. It's a 3-point lead for Wake Forest. Forget about the field goal with a huge extra point coming up. Wow. They don't use the tight end very much in this offense. They found a good time to do it. That offensive line picked up some more pressure. Newman made the throw. This is a big point after. It is up and it is good. NC State needs a touchdown with only 30 seconds remaining in this one. They just can't believe it.
I don't think any of us can believe it.
Well, it's shocking. Listen, Wake goes empty. You're getting a blitz from here. It's zero coverage. The guy covering the tight end is all the way back there because it's zero coverage. It makes it an easy read for Newman. Ball comes out, but then there's a collision because of where the free safety is trying to cover the tight end from. I'm actually shocked that they decided to bring that type of pressure in this situation. I mean, you basically are setting yourself up to give up a big play. It's all-out blitz man coverage rather than just trying to keep everything in front of you.
You have to make, I'll agree with you, you have to make the worst case scenario that they tie the game with a field goal.
That was unbelievable.
This is the true worst case scenario for NC State.
And now listen, situational football here. You got Ryan Finley, 3 timeouts, down 4, 30 seconds. Reminds me of the situation that the Green Bay Packers had against the LA Rams, where Ty Montgomery brought the ball out. If you got a chance to get a touchback here, you should take it.
They're going to kick one high and angled and a muffed catch. This is going to cost time and probably field position. Yeah, both. A penalty flag comes in. Just a disaster for NC State. 9 seconds. They're going to start at about the 10. And that may take away their chances to come from behind in this game.
That's exactly the situation that I was referring to.
During the return, holding, receiving team, 10-yard penalty. First down.
So much has happened here in the last couple minutes. The broken play by the defense to allow the touchdown to put Wake ahead when they were lining up to get into field goal range to try to tie it. How about NC State going for it on 4th down, not converting, Wake using its timeouts and holding on defense. 80 yards in about a minute, the Wake offense went down the field with a quarterback making his first start as a college player.
And this has been an incredible game. I just wish they would have given Ryan Finley all 30 seconds and field position for this drive.
No fair catch, and now that is doing you no good whatsoever. You got to call the timeout. I mean, you can't do that. And NC State fans are cranky, and I don't blame them.
No, that's why Ryan Finley doesn't just, give Harmon a good ball. If he gives him a good ball, he can stay up and get out of bounds. You're not forced to take the timeout.
Everybody here is just stunned, including us. And what a performance by Wake Forest. Finley will throw, and that one is caught. 9 seconds. They will stop the clock on the catch. And I would assume NC State is, well, they're not. Yeah, they are using the timeout. They have to. You can't let even one more second wind off as you get organized. So now one more play to try to get in position for a throw to the end zone, something like that.
I think that's the key. If you feel like you have a target range where Ryan Finley can reach the end zone, you're trying to just work the sideline to give him an opportunity to be able to heave it all the way down the field.
Big underdogs. Wake Forest in the super prevent defense now. Finley, clock winding, will throw to the sideline, and they do get out of bounds near midfield. 4 seconds, probably for your final shot here, right?
I mean, listen, you snapped it with 9 seconds. You ran a 5-yard out. There's 4 seconds left on the clock. I will say this, Ryan Finley can reach from here.
Yeah, as we set up here, I do believe one of those players down at the end zone goal line for Wake Forest is their wide receiver, Scotty Washington, playing defensive back here, bigger guy. Sage Surratt, I think, is back there as well. Should be the final play. Finley will step up and get everything he can into the ball and heave it toward the end zone. Here we go. Jump ball is intercepted. Intercepted, Wake Forest. What a win for the Demon Deacons on the road against a top 15 team. Stunning. Ryan Finley and the Wolfpack, 27-23, the final score.
So I think Laura made a good point about the wind. You know, the wind kind of in his face. The ball doesn't quite get there, and as you mentioned, you got big receivers down there playing free safety.
I thought this was a well-executed play by both the offense and the defense. The throw's not really as high as you'd like, but what a win for Wake Forest. What an opportunity for Jamie Newman, and he took advantage of it. Big win on the road. Very impressed. Really a great football game.
Starting quarterback hurt, starting tailback hurt, your defense decimated, moving people around, and somehow you beat a top 15 team away from home.
Dave Clawson said Jamie Newton had to win the game in the second half. He did just that.
Great job by Tim, by Matt, by Laura. Dave Fleming saying so long. What a night here in Raleigh for the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. They win 27-23.